Impeach Trump and Vance. Yes, 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 yes. I'm Jessica Denson, and this is Lights On. If you're not already subscribed to the Jessica Denson YouTube channel where you're watching this, please do that now. As you know, if you're a Lights On regular, this is the home for action. We are interested in one thing, and that is the removal of this corrupt, illegal, egregious fascist administration from power now. And we have breaking news to share with you tonight that Representative Al Green has announced he will augment his already existing article of impeachment with new articles, which he previously announced on this program, on Lights On, to include articles of impeachment against Vice President J.D. Vance. So that's right. To those of you who have been saying, well, impeachment leaves us with J.D. Vance. If we really take care of this whole criminal, corrupt cabal that is illegally in power right now, we will impeach and remove J.D. Vance as well. So I'm going to share that clip from Representative Al Green with you in just a minute. I'm also very, very excited to announce that Representative Al Green will be joining me and my friend Cliff Cash, who is also going to join us in just a moment on Friday with the Mayday Movement right next to the Capitol to do a mass lobbying effort to pressure members of Congress to back impeachment in ahead of the D-Day massive veterans rally on the National Mall. It's going to be a big day. We're going to have 2 Lights On shows that day with a stream in the morning with the congressman, Cliff, myself, other friend of ours, Carlos Alvarez Araños from American Opposition. It's going to be a huge day. We're going to go to the mall, and then we're going to have another live show that night regularly as we do on Friday night for Lights On. So it's a big week coming up, a big Friday coming up that is so critical for the movement, the action that needs to take place right now. You know, I am a don't stop hammering this drum about how we need to be very direct and explicit in our protests about what our demands are. So let me play for you this clip from Representative Al Green. This is from just last night in a town hall that he did with our friend from Free Speech for People, the president of Free Speech for People, John Bonifaz, and Women's March head Rachel O'Leary. The congressman joined them both. It's wonderful, by the way, to know that the Women's March, with their massive mobilization apparatus, is behind impeachment and removal. But he joined them on this town hall, and this has been very, very low key, not really reported much, but he put out this breaking news, and I want to amplify it and share it with you tonight in advance of having the congressman join us on Friday. So here is that right now.
News that is breaking, you will be among the first to hear what I'm about to say. So please fasten your seat belts, because I told John, if I may call him such, he and I have a very good relationship. I'm Al, he's John. I told him that I was working on additional articles of impeachment, and I am. And I'm just going to read to you what I call the style. It is really what they're about in a very simple one-sentence statement. This is a resolution for the impeachment of Donald John Trump as President of the United States. Now, these are new words. They've not been spoken anywhere publicly before. Impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, and James David Vance, Vice President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors. I'm working currently on the second set of articles, which may have to be separated in 2 sets, one set with 2 separate articles of impeachment. But I think that J.D. Vance and the President, Donald John Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, have done other things that merit impeachment that are not covered in the articles that are currently on file.
Excellent news. I think for so many of us who have known that just removing Donald Trump is not sufficient, this entire administration has to go. Of course, you know that I have educated my audience to the greatest extent possible on why this whole administration isn't even legal. It's a complete violation of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, because Donald Trump incited and led a deadly insurrection at that building where we are going to meet on Friday. And someone who had so much clarity on that issue and met me when we were both amplifying it is my friend, comedian Cliff Cash. He is one of the co-founders of the 14th Now movement that we started back in January. We really spearheaded this protest movement in the freezing cold with a few dozen people trying to get Congress to reject the certification of this illegal administration. And we continued that with a massive Veterans March on March 14th in honor of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And Cliff has been just nonstop continuing his protests. I'm sure you hear about it all the time, media protests, Heritage Foundation protests. I've been at one of them since, was with him in March, and will be with him this weekend. And I am so happy, as always, to be in this fight with Cliff. Welcome back to Lights On, my friend.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So tell me what's on your mind tonight.
Oh man. Sleep. I have been burning the candle at both ends, to say the least. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm also looking forward to it ending, and like I'm gonna sleep for a couple days. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I think more than anything, what has to happen is people have to really, really start to come to terms with the seriousness, the gravity of the moment. And if you're not protesting, you should be. And if you're not posting, you should be. And if there's not a sign in your yard, there should be, because people staying silent and normalizing this and sanewashing it and refusing to speak up because it's their boss or their grandpa or their neighbor or their brother-in-law, that's how we got here. Because if everyone who opposes fascism and everyone who supports democracy and everyone who thinks this guy is a Russian-backed, traitor slash pedophile slash criminal con artist, rapist, if everyone who believes that would have been speaking up since 2015, he wouldn't have won the first time. He wouldn't have any support left. He definitely wouldn't have won again. This guy isn't going away because we're not making him go away. And it's up to the American people to do that. So if you're not doing it, I want to humbly ask you to stop being a coward and have a spine and stand up for your country.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, of course, D-Day, the epic battle in World War II against the Nazis. And what could be more parallel to the situation we're facing right now? I mean, they're literally trying to force a bill through Congress that is the blueprint of Project 2025, that has, aspects in it that try to strip away the power of the judiciary, much like Hitler did in his enabling act that made him a dictator. I will remind people, Cliff, I don't know if you know this, I've talked about it recently on the show, but some constitutional scholars have reminded me that that Adolf Hitler would have never come to power if there were a Section 3 of the 14th Amendment in Germany. If there were, because he was an insurrectionist, just like his pal Donald Trump. If that were in place in Germany, there would have been no Hitler, no Holocaust. That whole thing would have been avoided if there had been a Section 3. That's how vital that amendment in our Constitution is.
But the caveat is you have to actually follow your Constitution. And
no kidding.
If we had, he wouldn't be president here.
Yeah, I know. That's my whole point, is that we literally have the mechanism to stop us from that eventuality, and we ignored it. Unforgivable. But look, as I said back in March, these Congress people, as far as I'm concerned, we're in the redemption space. If they want redemption now, it's damn well time to get on the right side of history. And one very concrete way to do that right now, constitutional mechanism, is to back impeachment. Now, Cliff, I've told you this privately, like, we've been covering impeachment incessantly on the show. We've had the congressmen on that have filed their articles, Rep. Green and Rep. Tanadar. Rep. Tanadar invoked Rule 9, which forces a vote on articles of impeachment. And wouldn't you know, Cliff, the whole friggin' Democratic leadership apparatus bullied this poor Indian immigrant from Michigan out of holding that vote that he committed to. I mean, what does that say about the people that are supposed to represent us?
Yeah, it's time for everybody to go on the record. And I mean, this Al Green's articles are obviously much more public, and he's he's a pretty fearless guy, obviously, and everybody's going to go on the record. While they were toppling American democracy, while a Russian-backed operative who's simping for the BRICS nations and taking bribes from the Saudis and the Qataris, while an attorney general who's on the payroll of the Qataris, while Fox News, while all this is going on, while all these are basically all Russian shills. I mean, Rupert Murdoch has ties to the Russian oligarchs. The
Yep.
Heritage Foundation is backed by Hungary and Orban, and they're backed by Putin. I mean, and it's like, why are we letting this sinister dictator country meddle in the affairs of a superpower, while a tiny country is taking out 40% of their bombers, and they can't even fight their own war? They're borrowing troops from North Korea because their people won't fight. Their people are fleeing the country because they don't want to fight, because nobody believes in their bullshit war. Vladimir Putin is a failed dictator. He's a little person, first of all. He's 4'3". He's a loser. Vladimir Putin he's a loser, and he's a psychopath, and that's why Trump likes him. But it's like, why are we simping? I don't want us to simp for any country. I definitely don't want us to simp for some loser country run by a little person who can't get his own people to fight for him in a bullshit war that he can't win, even though he's fighting a tiny nation. Like, I don't want to be in cahoots
Well said, Cliff.
with authoritarian countries in general. I certainly don't want to side with losers. And Vladimir Putin is a loser, just like all the cowards and all the spineless traitors in the GOP. They're losers. Josh Hawley's a loser. Matt Gaetz is a loser. RFK is a loser. These are people who they can't succeed at other things other than cons and frauds. And
okay, so you kind of like brought up, and I'm glad you're saying this, because you brought up something that was coming to me as I was driving earlier, listening to MSNBC, and the common thing there is, the Democrats want to amplify how the Republicans are at war with themselves. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's have that conversation, because that's true. They're losers. There's a ton of infighting. These people hate each other. I can confirm from my disillusion, my misled, brainwashed days in the Trump campaign, I can confirm this is a, kingdom divided. These people hate each other. Okay. Just look at what Elon Musk is trying to do right now as one tiny example. So if they're already fractured, if they're already divided, why don't the Democrats exploit that division, exploit that weakness? It literally takes flipping four Republicans in the House to pass articles of impeachment out of that body. It is not an undoable, insurmountable threshold to reach.
it's really not. And I guess it shouldn't be. It's not surprising that Republicans are being spineless cowards. It's very frustrating that our own people are being spineless cowards.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike most of these people. I think they're decent human beings.
Yeah.
I don't understand if they think that they're trying to hang on to some normalcy. I think there's this sort of misconception that we're going to beat them in the midterms. These people do not intend to let you have meaningful midterms. That's not one of the attributes of fascists and authoritarians, is to let you regain power once they've got it. That's not how it works. That's not how it's ever worked, ever. When a dictator is taking control of a country and toppling every institution that makes the country work, from law enforcement to the VA, Social Security, Medicaid, our currency, our trade relationships. They're dismantling every aspect of our society and our world as we know it as a nation. And you think they're going to just be like, well, they beat us in the midterm, so we're all going to leave our offices. No, they're not. No, they're not. So while you waste time waiting for that thing that's not going to happen, are you procrastinating or are you preparing? Because we need to be preparing, not procrastinating. And that's not a feasible plan. So those midterms are going to roll around, and they're not going to relinquish power, or they're not going to allow the elections to be free and fair and accurate. Now what? Now you finally realize the pickle that you're in, that you could have spent the last 2 years readying yourself for, or or remedying by
Yeah,
then,
remedying.
you know.
That's it. That's it. That's what drives me insane, is to hear Democrats out there diagnosing the problem. And I bring up this line from John Bonifaz a lot, because he says, you know, there's a lot of politicians out there, they're really good at diagnosing the problem. It's really obvious to all of us, right? But they're not giving you answers. And their only answer that I see from most of them is vote us into the majority in the midterms, which makes me kind of sick, because look, the American people aren't stupid, okay? There is a reason why the opposition party right now, that should be wildly popular considering how vastly unpopular Donald Trump is, has such low approval ratings. It's because the people recognize that they don't have a backbone and they don't have spine either, just like the Republicans, right? The difference is, like you said, that they're posturing on our side, and we like these people, you know, we want to like these people.
Totally.
But you know, you actually want to hope of winning a midterm election. You want to hope of getting the support that you should have. Like, take a position now. Back articles of impeachment now. Stop bullying your colleagues who are doing the right thing. Object to unanimous consent in the Senate. I had this conversation a few weeks ago. Do you know, Cliff, that one senator, like Tommy Tuberville did, could be using an objection to unanimous consent to shut down almost everything that's going on in the Senate? I mean, that's the power of
someone
one
said
senator.
they were going to. I can't remember who it was that said they were going to do that, and I don't
Really?
I can't remember
Tell
who
me
it
when you
was.
find it, because I missed it. But they should.
I want to think
They
maybe it was
absolutely should.
Murphy. But yeah, I haven't heard of it happening. But yeah, you know, I'm having like fans and followers comment on my stuff and say, why is a comedian doing more than anybody in Congress? And first of all, I'm not naive. Like, I mean, so let me say, I am naive as to what goes on in I've never had the job. I know it's difficult. I know there are a lot of nuances. I get that it's complicated. I'm not saying their job is easy or the path forward is easy, but people who follow me on Facebook think I'm doing more than you. And most of what I'm doing is talking and protesting, and I'm building websites and starting small movements. So if all these people think I'm doing more than you, I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Maybe just match that energy. Like, talk to people every day, make videos, let them know what's going on, what you think can happen, have a plan. Because I mean, you know, I can't, obviously, none of us can single-handedly fix any of this. I can't do anything by myself. Nothing. The only reason anything I'm doing is making any difference is because all of the people supporting it. But I go on social media regularly and I say, I have a plan. And here it is. It's amplifying veterans' voices so that everyone in the country can see these veterans are pissed off and disappointed and frustrated, and they feel betrayed. And they're not liberal snowflakes, and they don't have purple hair, and they're not transgender vegans, or whatever this brush is that they want to paint all Democrats with. And I have no beef with any of those people. All of those people are welcome in my seat at my table all day, every day. But they try to pigeonhole us. Yeah, exactly. I don't, you know. Anyway, but they try to pigeonhole. Well, every liberal is a liberal stuff. It's like, dude, I just rebuilt a carburetor. I can build a deck. I can build a tile. I'm from the South. My dad worked on a NASCAR pit crew. My mom talks in tongues. You're not more American than me. You're not more Southern than me. You're not tougher. You're dumber. I can do everything you can do, and I know how their and their work. So I got a real one up on you on that one. But you know, that's the thing, is that these people, if any of them are reachable in MAGA, if only 5% are reachable, they're probably only reachable by hearing these similar things being said by brave combat veterans. Because then they can't go, well, you're a liberal, communist, socialist, transgender, vegan, purple hair, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, no. That's a combat veteran, sir, that's saying that to your face, than calling you a traitor and telling you that you're supporting Russia. So that's part of the plan, amplifying veterans' voices, in-person congressional pressure, which we're going to do on Friday. Yeah. Al Green is going to join us. We've got the Mayday Movement is joining us, Indivisible, Virginia, American Opposition, me and Jessica, hopefully hundreds or maybe thousands of you.
Yes, come. If you're planning on being in DC on D-Day for the big protest, start your day early with us at the Capitol. It's at the Mayday camp, which is right in front of Union Station. It's that Columbus Circle right in front of Union Station, walking distance to the Capitol. Come with us at 9 a.m. and be there at 9 because the congressman's going to speak right at 9. So come early, come at 9, and spend those morning hours with us in the halls of Congress. Cliff and I have done this before. We were there in January, and I will tell you, being in that building and like exercising our civic, what's the word I'm looking for? Our civic
Duty.
privilege. Yeah, it's like a privilege. I mean, people need to understand and not take for granted how good we have it in this country right now. That we have for now, that we have the ability to walk into our legislative body for the country, for the nation, and go directly to the people that we elect and that are supposed to represent us. I mean, that is an extraordinary privilege that many people across this globe do not have. So don't take it for granted.
And if you're a Republican, you can just break in and shit in there. And not only will you not get in trouble, they might give you $1 million.
It's insane. It's insane.
For, back the blue. I'm also working on this movement. This is a Fox Lies t-shirt. We've got a movement called Fox Takedown, foxtakedown.com. And we are trying to, just like the Tesla takedown, we're trying to encourage people around the country to start massive protests at Fox affiliates all over the country. There's about 40 of them. They're all on the website, Fox Takedown. And then lastly, Heritage Foundation pressure. Pressure on Congress, pressure on the media, pressure on Heritage, and amplifying veterans. And not just amplifying the veterans' voices, but doing that online as well, so that stuff can hopefully go viral, and getting them together in person at in town halls, so that these pro-democracy veterans can organize and meet each other and keep in touch, because we need a nationwide network of pro-democracy veterans who are pissed off. And I'll let you use your imagination as to why we might need something like that. But that's all I've done is have a plan and work on it. And we need people in Congress to have a plan and work it. If I can do it as a part-time endeavor while having a whole nother career and a family and all these other things, surely a full-time congressman making a couple $100,000 a year can also have a plan and execute it.
Yeah, absolutely. A few minutes ago, you were speaking about our fans and followers, and I wanted to highlight one of them because you find these things and I will tell you, it's because of these people. It's because of the people in the Veterans Town Hall. I was on a virtual town hall with veterans from Florida last night, including like Commander Phil Eyre, who's running for Congress down in Florida. Individuals like him, encouraged me to come to DC. Carlos encouraged me. You encouraged me. And we are not, by the way, Cliff and I organized thousands of people to the mall in March. We are not officially part of the D-Day protest. We were not brought into the inner circle of that, but we're coming for the veterans. We're coming for the people. We're coming for you. And so I just wanted to play this one clip because it's, these kind of things make our day. And Cliff hasn't seen this, so I think he'll appreciate it.
I just wanted to jump on here and thank Jessica Denson and Cliff Cash for the damn jam up job they did in DC this weekend. Folks, that's people like these people are fighting for us, and we need to be behind them 100%, because what's going on ain't right. And legacy media, they ain't telling us the truth. And apps like this one here, they're trying to silence us. We won't be silenced. We're going to accomplish getting rid of fascism in these here United States.
I'll let you take it.
It seems like a liberal snowflake to me. I don't know.
Right.
Seems like a coastal elite.
Coastal elite for sure.
There is something like extra heartwarming to me as a Southerner from North Carolina to hear a Southern accent saying progressive things. You know what I mean? Like, it happens to me after my comedy shows. I remember one time I was in Birmingham, Alabama, and this guy comes, I see him coming towards me, and he's like maybe 60, 65, and he's a white guy, and he's kind of pink. You know what I mean? You ever see an old man that's so
Yeah.
white that he's pink, like maybe high
Yes.
blood pressure, possibly? And he had on a pink polo, and I was like, as he's coming at me, I'm like, this dude is just pink, a pink
Pink.
dude in a pink shirt, and just bright, I mean, snow white hair. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy's about to come tell me that he hates everything I stand for. And he comes over and he goes, man, I love that last joke, man. Fox News is such bullshit. I'm so tired of their damn lies. And I was like, oh, I want to hug you, sir. Like,
Yes.
there's no one on earth I love more than like a forward thinking Southerner. Like, I think,
I love
no
it.
offense to anybody else, I think that we are the best people, maybe for the unexpected nature of it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I so appreciated him too. And when he says like, you're with us, you're for the people, I'm like, thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. And by the way, I'm all with you there, Cliff, on like busting stereotypes and like ditching labels. I'm an actress and I used to have to, there's always a type and they're like, what's your type? I'm like, I'm not a fucking type. Like, don't put me in a box. You don't know the first, iota of what I can do. Yeah, I love throwing the stereotypes out the window, and people like him are such a helpful reminder of the fact that not everybody from the South, not everybody with an accent, not everybody who's tough and rumble is MAGA, not even close. And
Totally, not even close. And I'll to that point, I want to sort of reiterate something I said on a video the other day on social media. You're seeing these videos of these people showing up in their U-Haul trucks, 2 trucks, a bunch of like dirt road dipshits pop out in their matching white trash howdy doody outfits with their masks over their face because they're cowards. And then they come and they do some salutes and they have their flags, and some guy that weighs 90 pounds is yelling into a bullhorn, and they're all acting like they're tough guys. It's like, okay, watch that video. Now watch any of my videos from any of the protests that I've led or been at. It's either several hundred people or several thousand people. And if that was happening on their side, I promise you'd hear all about it, but you're not. You're hearing about 2 U-Haul trucks worth of white supremacists showing up in matching outfits, looking like not so proud boys. And it's like, how many U-Haul trucks are we going to need Friday for the tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of people that are going to show up at the National Mall,
yeah,
So people need to understand, not only are these people not tough, not only do they not have a monopoly on being tough or being Southern or being a patriot or being a veteran, there's not as many of them as they think there are, and there's not as many of them as we think there are. The support's not real. First of all, he didn't win.
yes,
Okay. The polling at the end of the election wasn't real. A lot of those polls were MAGA owned. He didn't win the election, or the numbers would make a lot more sense. Okay. The guy who overturned a woman's right to choose did not win every swing state. I promise.
Before we went to sleep on election night. Yeah, no,
After an insurrection and 91 felony charges, I promise.
Yeah, swaying back and forth a few weeks before in an auditorium half empty and like telling people that Haitians eat dogs and cats. Yeah, that guy did not win.
While Harris went to Milwaukee and filled the stadium they couldn't fill for the RNC.
Yeah.
On the same night that the biggest stadium in Chicago was also filled. And then she came to Chicago the next night. His last event was in my home state of North Carolina, and there were like 4,000 people there, and it wasn't full. His inauguration was moved indoors because the numbers weren't looking good, and he didn't want people to see the small crowds because not a lot of people were coming. We know for a fact hotel occupancy wasn't even close to what it was for his first election or Biden's or Obama's. His ratings for his inauguration were 30% lower than even his last election and Biden's inauguration. And when he had his 100-day celebration in Michigan, 1,000 people were there. 3,000 people were outside protesting it. His support's not real. It hasn't been in a very, very long time. And just because they're loud and they have their Chinese made Trump flags on the back of their ugly squatted loud pickup trucks, being loud doesn't increase your numbers. It just draws more attention to how stupid you look.
Yeah, you're talking about the election, and just this last few days, I don't know if you heard about it. There's a lawsuit that's proceeding in Rockland County, New York, and these people have actual evidence of clear, unsupportable election results where Democrats did not get votes, where there was a significant drop off. This is not speculation. This is not magical thinking, my friends. This is what happens when you don't do election hygiene and make sure that a known cheater, fraudster, felon did not, with the world's richest man, rig an election. So a lot of us who have known this since the beginning and been sounding the alarms, shout out to Smart Elections, by the way, who is behind that lawsuit, will be vindicated in the end. And it's unthinkable. You just add that all to the notion that our lawmakers would not want to take action or would act like they don't have the support to impeach and remove this man. I mean, give me a break.
And that is like another example of our sort of us being our own worst enemy on the left. Is like, well, I don't want to sound like them. It's like, no, buddy, you could never sound like them. You know how your work, and you're going to be using statistics and data and not a YouTube video from Mr. Pillowman. Like, you're nothing. You're nothing like them. We're nothing like them. These are real discrepancies and real anomalies. And it wasn't one state or one district. We know for a fact that Russia called in 78 bomb threats to swing districts.
Yeah, it was over 100. It was over 100. Yeah.
Okay. And we know for a fact they helped him, according to our FBI, they helped him in the first election. We know he tried to cheat when he lost. He tried to get fake electors, and that's what they called themselves. He tried to get Mike Pence to not certify. I mean, so it's like, this is a guy who came out of the womb cheating. He's cheated at everything he's ever done, including all three of his families. So do you believe that all of a sudden he got integrity, or that it was impossible? Because I would say that neither of those things is true. It wasn't impossible, and he certainly didn't get integrity.
Yeah, and add to that all the times he confessed on camera leading up to the election, I do not need your votes. I have a little secret I'm not supposed to tell you. I do not need your votes. And then thanking Elon Musk for knowing those vote counting computers so well. I mean, it's all literally right out there in daylight, the analysis. Oh, shout out, by the way, to Greg Palast and his documentary Vigilantes, Inc., because there's also mass voter suppression of millions and millions of people of color. So anyway, you cut the mustard. This guy didn't win fair and square, not even close. So, all right, Cliff. So let's remind everybody Friday. I'm excited. We're going to start off Friday morning at the Capitol. Again, if you're just joining us, this is going to be at the Columbus Circle Park, which is basically right in front of Union Station, a stone's throw from the Capitol. We're going to meet there at 9 a.m. with, yes, he confirmed with me, his office confirmed with me just a couple hours ago, Representative Al Green. I am so excited. He's going to join us. I will be there. Cliff will be there. Carlos, our friend, Carlos Alvarez Araños from American Opposition will be there. This is all hosted by the Mayday Movement. We're going to be there at their camp. So you got to join us. You got to join us on Friday and get into those halls of Congress.
And we've got a ton of people coming from Indivisible, Virginia as well.
Yes.
And just to people that might follow me, I was saying the Capitol steps, and we feel like the group is going to be big enough that we need to sort of rendezvous elsewhere first, and then have a real controlled trickle to the Capitol, so we don't freak out the Capitol Police, because we respect law enforcement. And so anyway, 35 Columbus Monument Drive, Northeast. Make sure you come there. Like Jessica said, it's right at Union Station. We'll gather there and do everything we need to do and speak to you and get some handouts in your hands, and then we'll head to the Capitol. So I'm going to really try and put that out on all socials so I catch anybody who might have otherwise been going straight to the Capitol.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully have some volunteers from Mayday out there to redirect in case people show up. But that is where we will be. Go to our websites, 14th Now, down there in the description. We've got Cliff's websites, DonaldLovesVladimir.com, wearetheflood.net. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and by the way, as I mentioned at the top, Cliff who obviously will be with me in person, as will Carlos. We're going to do a live in-person episode of Lights On Friday night in the nation's capital. So definitely stay tuned. You got 2 really great streams coming up on Friday in the morning and the night. So I'm really looking forward to bringing you all that. And Cliff's going to stick around for the weekend. So if you can stick in DC for the whole weekend, join Cliff on Saturday at Fox. I should be there with him, and on Sunday at the Heritage Foundation. For sure.
Yeah, I'm going to be at Fox News 12 noon on Saturday protesting Fox News. NBC is in that same building, and then we'll probably march to CNN as well. That's 400 North Capitol Street. The next day, we're going to be at the Heritage Foundation, which is 214 Massachusetts Avenue at noon, protesting against Heritage. And then we're going to go back to Heritage the next day, Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning, because I want them to see us there when they are there in their offices for business hours.
Nice.
So on Monday, we're going to go back with noisemakers, and I'm going to get as big of a crowd as I can get. And I want my goal, I want them to look out their window and go, I don't want to do this anymore. This is unnerving, and I don't want to work here anymore. That's my goal. And the same with these media outlets. Like, if you're working for CNN and they're not letting you tell the truth, and you know what the truth is, which I know you do, leave CNN, start your own thing on YouTube. All of us will support you, and you'll make more money than you ever did at CNN. Because people will subscribe, they'll do your Patreon, they'll donate, they'll do whatever. And people like Jessica and I will help you do that. But it's time to stand up for your country and walk away from all this bullshit, whether it's the Heritage Foundation or Fox or CNN or whatever. Our country is at risk. It's not a joke. This is a Russian-backed authoritarian takedown of the oldest democracy on planet Earth. And if they think that we're going to let it happen, we're not. We are not going to let it happen. So either our leaders can step the fuck up and stop it themselves, or we will stop it. We will stop it. And that will be much messier. So the leaders, it's time to lead, and you can either step up or step aside.
Yeah, exactly. Get uncomfortable now, because if you think this is tough, imagine how uncomfortable it's going to get. Start getting uncomfortable. So Thank you. Thank you so much, Cliff. I'll see you very soon, my friend.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight on Lights On. If you want to support this show, other than subscribing, which is the best way, by the way, turn on your notifications, like, share. That all helps spread this show that is really a movement. You can go to thejessicadenson.com or thejessicadenson.com/donate. Believe it or not, I have a 7-year-old legal battle that is going on to this day against the Trump campaign, and I could use your help. So if you want to support me there, I would love it. And I'm so grateful for that support. thejessicadenson.com/donate. And at thejessicadenson.com, you can buy merch like this shirt and the standout mug and hats, other items. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you Friday in Washington, D.C. As always, my friends, let your light shine.